Well, it's time now for some business news, and tensions keep escalating between the world's two biggest economies ahead of high-level trade talks. Donald Trump accusing China of breaking the deal, and Beijing threatening retaliation if Washington raises tariffs further. I'm joined now in the studio by Yuka Hoye.
Hello, Hexie. Well, the Trump administration has formally told China that tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods will be raised from 10% to 25% just after midnight on Thursday Eastern Time. That's 6 a.m. Friday Paris time. And that's if they don't get a deal by then, of course. China is playing hardball, its Commerce Ministry issuing a statement saying Beijing will be forced to retaliate if the tariff hikes do kick in, adding that such a move would benefit no one. At a rally in Florida, Donald Trump ramped up the rhetoric, blaming China for the collapse of a trade deal.
By the way, you see the tariffs we're doing? Because they broke the deal. They broke the deal. So they're flying in. The vice premier tomorrow is flying in. Good man. But they broke the deal. They can't do that. So they'll be paying. If we don't make the deal, nothing wrong with taking in over $100 billion a year. $100 billion. We never did that before. And we have that happening, a lot of good things happening with a lot of countries.
Well, the deepening tensions continue to rattle markets. Asian shares extending losses this Thursday, dropping to 6-week lows. South Korea's Kospi down more than 2%, as you can see. Hong Kong Hang Seng also down more than 1.7%. Shanghai Composite down about 4/5 of a percentage point. Meanwhile, Meng Wanzhou, the chief financial officer at telecoms giant Huawei, was back in court on Wednesday as she fought against an extradition from Canada to the United States. She was arrested in Vancouver in December on charges that she violated US sanctions on Iran by covertly doing business with Tehran. Wanzhou, the daughter of Huawei's founder, is seeking a stay on extradition proceedings. Her lawyers told the court that the allegations against her were untrue and that her business was done transparently. A Huawei spokesman also said that her arrest at the request of the United States was unlawful.
It was revealed that the arrest of Ms. Meng violated a core principle of the Canada-US extradition treaty and Canadian extradition law. The US allegations against Ms. Meng are based on violations of US sanctions against Iran. However, Canada does not impose sanctions on financial services in relation to Iran. Because of this, the allegation she faces is not a crime in Canada, and therefore the extradition request does not satisfy the double criminality requirement.
General Motors is negotiating the sale of its closed-down factory in the US state of Ohio to a company that builds electric trucks. The Lordstown factory was among the 5 US plants shuttered by the carmaker last November as part of a 15% cut in its workforce worldwide. GM says it's in discussions with a Cincinnati-based firm called Workhorse to sell the site. It also announced that it would invest $700 million in 3 factories within the state and create 450 jobs. The decision drew praise from President Trump, who had previously criticized the firm for cutting American jobs over the plant shutdowns. The state governor has cautiously welcomed the news, saying there's a lot of work still to be done between the company and its main labor union.
I'm assuming that General Motors, believes that this can actually work and can work for the people in Lordstown. So we have to now become involved and do whatever we can to assist. We have great workers. We have a very, very good facility. Work ethic could not be better in Ohio. This is going to be a great place. And we'll be able to manufacture these in Ohio and produce a good product.
That was the governor for the state of Ohio in the United States speaking earlier. Drivers for the ride-sharing service Uber went on strike in cities around the world on Wednesday, trying to draw attention to what they said were poor working conditions and low wages. This just ahead of Uber's much-hyped IPO. The company is set to go public on the New York Stock Exchange on Friday. The initial public offering is expected to value the company at tens of billions of dollars. The striking drivers said they deserved a share of the wealth.
Started. It was 10%, 20% that they took off each ride. Now they're taking almost close to 50%.
These drivers who took out loans, they sacrificed time on the road 12, 14, 16 hours a day.
Drivers made those companies valuable, and yet there is no driver's life that's been improved over the years.
And we're gearing up, bracing for some major industrial action here in France as well. Civil servants are going on strike this Thursday. 8 major trade unions have called for a one-day nationwide strike to protest at the government's plan to cut 120,000 public sector jobs over the next few years. Teachers, nurses and others are joining the walkout. The last nationwide strike against the reform plan was held about a year ago, with 139,000 people joining in. And that's it for business for now.
Yuka Royer with the business. Thank you very much indeed for that update.